Hello everyone, this is Eric, or That Sky Guy. I'm here to introduce you all to our newest podcast series, The Cult of the Coral Star. It's a D&D podcast of the Cult of the Coral Star campaign. We've played D&D for a good few years now together, so we all figured we should share that joy with all of you guys. Just as a note though, this campaign takes place in our own homebrewed world. So in order to give you guys a proper introduction to that world, and our previous campaign in it, Ian will give you guys a taste of that sweet, sweet lore. Take it away, buddy.
Several years ago, 5 adventurers found themselves thrust into a series of events that would shake the world. Originally hired on a simple mission to secure lost cargo, they soon found themselves embroiled in a conflict far out of their depth. A star had appeared in the sky, a coral star. A cult, known as the Cult of the Coral Star, sometimes called the Cult of the Fallen Star, had arisen. Led by the enigmatic Vendren Highmarch, the exiled archmage from Kenshire, the cult sought magical crystals known as construct stones. These stones, used to create golems, were rarer than most any other crystal. Vendren himself seemed guided by a mysterious presence, known as the Shade. This entity aided Vendren, gifting him with knowledge and protecting him from danger. All the while, it seemed to stretch out its own influence, using the cult that Vendren had created. Little is known of Vendren's motives, and even less those of his benefactor. However, what was evident were the lengths they would go to achieve their goals. Using the cult spread across the 14 kingdoms, Vendren began to put his plans into motion. Everything seemed to be going according to plan until those 5 adventurers appeared. Their first interaction occurred in Elwood, a small village in southern Verity. There, the group was hired to secure a delivery destined for the Grand Academy of Naverin. There, they ran into members of the Cult of the Coral Star, who sought to steal the delivery, a construct stone. The party secured it, and contact was made to the wizards at the Grand Academy, Masters Leva and Nealon and Archmage Liet. However, before they could leave with the crystal, Vendren made his moves. As the party rested, he attacked, taking the stone and half the town with it. Following the trail of wisps gathered for the occasion of great death, they found him. Vendren had begun a ritual to bind the soul of a young girl, Mivra, into the construct stone, laying it into a clay golem. The party thwarted his plans, forcing the Shade to bring him to safety, but it seemed too late for the girl. She was alive, but only just. Her soul was split. Only those at the Grand Academy could hope to decipher the spellwork involved and save Mivra's life. Even with that setback, Vendren continued his plans. Once again relying on the cult, he staged an attack against the city of Naverin to lead any would-be assailants to chase the cultists to their base in the Whispering Mountains. The party took the bait, seeking to find answers on how to save the young girl's life. In the meantime, Vendren infiltrated the Grand Academy and began to work with the wizards there to find a way to duplicate the construct stones. At the Whispering Mountains, the party followed the trail of the cultists, eventually finding an underground base of sorts. However, they also found a far more sinister force, the Shade, who appeared physically before them. It began to call itself the Playwright, encouraging the party and telling them how fun it has been to watch them. Without any warning, not even so much as an incantation, the party found themselves enwrapped in a spell, an illusion that showed them worlds where they led different lives. By the time they had freed themselves from the illusion, 3 months had passed. They made their way back to the Grand Academy, only to find it in a state of ruin. Once the party had broken free, the Shade had returned to Vendren, and they had begun their escape. They did not leave empty-handed, for Vendren had succeeded in acquiring the spells necessary to create new construct stones. In order to make a clean escape, the Shade destroyed the Academy down to the last stone. Archmage Liet fought Vendren, but even her vast knowledge of magic failed against the Shade. Masters Liet and Nealon saved as many of the students and staff as they could, watching the academy turn to dust. There was only one bright spot among the chaos. Leva had found a way to reverse the spell on the young girl Mivra and bring her back as a whole person. With their goal to save the girl completed, the party left the scene. They knew they were out of their league and that someone else would take up the charge to defeat Vendron. However, that never occurred. Instead, something strange happened. Immediately following the attack on the Grand Academy, Vendron disappeared. Rumor was, even those within the cult of the Coral Star had lost track of him. Neither he, nor the strange entity that called itself Playwright, ever returned. A year later, the remnants of the cult of the Coral Star too disappeared. In the years that followed, much happened. The Grand Academy was rebuilt, better than ever before. Many adventuring guilds sprung up across the continent to deal with the increasing number of odd issues normal guilds could not handle. For a time, a kind of peace seemed to become the norm. Until recently. A different cult, the Dark Wanderers, had returned, burning villages and stealing their people. A group of assassins and thugs in the desert had begun to get more ambitious contracts. Remnants of an old necromancy cult were seen near Belcanus, and whispers were told of a group in Norland seen with an emblem of a coral star emblazoned on their cloak. That is where our new tale begins. The Wayward Valor Guild has accepted a contract to investigate a string of disappearances in and around the Norland city of Einvend. 2 guild groups venture to solve the mystery behind the missing people, and perhaps find even more than they could have imagined.